The Australian race weekend was filled with excitement and anticipation as drivers and teams from around the world gathered to compete in one of the most thrilling races of the year. The atmosphere was electric and the paddock was buzzing with activity as everyone prepared for the big event. However, amidst all the excitement and anticipation, there were rumours and speculations about certain teams and drivers, notably Red Bull. Many people accused the team of sandbagging and possibly even cheating, which caused a great deal of controversy and debate in the paddock. This was fueled by George Russell's remarks, which acted as a major trigger for the discussions. Stick around because we will break it all down in this video, but first, please do give us a like, a subscribe, and of course, smash that bell icon so you don't miss out on any of the Formula One action. Okay, so despite Max Verstappen's 100th overall win coming in 2023, George Russell has expressed his belief that Red Bull is deliberately not unleashing the full potential of the Formula One car, which he finds almost embarrassing. Verstappen emerged victorious in the Australian Grand Prix despite a poor start that caused him to fall behind the Mercedes cars that Russell and Lewis Hamilton drove. Russell briefly led the race but dropped out of contention after a pit stop during a safety car period, which was then followed by an unexpected red flag. Hamilton was ahead of Verstappen at the restart, but Max easily overtook him, displaying a straight-line speed advantage that Mercedes chief Toto Wolff described as mind-boggling. Verstappen's ability to transform a 0.5-second deficit into a 2.1-second lead in just one lap exhibited a terrifying change of pace, leading many to suspect that Red Bull is holding back their true potential. During an interview with BBC Radio 5 Live, George Russell expressed his belief that Red Bull is hesitant to reveal their full potential. According to Russell, Red Bull fears that if they demonstrate their actual speed, the rest of the sport will look to take measures to hinder their performance. He estimated that Red Bull might have a 7/10 advantage over the rest of the field, although he acknowledged that he is unsure about the current pace difference. Russell also praised Red Bull's achievements, stating that they have done an excellent job and that he and his team need to improve their performance to catch up. Red Bull team boss Christian Horner was quick to comment that a Hamilton error exacerbated Verstappen's initial advantage. However, like with the previous two races, it was evident that the RB19 had a significantly greater edge in the race than it did in qualifying. There were several indications in Melbourne when Verstappen had just qualified for pole by a few tenths of a second. For example, his unusually conservative opening lap was partly due to knowing that losing one or two spots was not the end of the world because he knew he had a quicker car, Verstappen said after the race. 2 laps after Hamilton's move gave a good idea of how much speed he had in store. They were 0.5 and 0.75 seconds faster respectively, and suddenly his opponent was at arm's length and Verstappen was in cruise control. Yet, following a mid-race virtual safety car break, he surged away by about 0.4 of a second each lap, moving 11 seconds ahead of a fight for second. A lead that was only cut down by a mistake while braking at the last corner, forcing the Red Bull temporarily off the track. Could this be a clear sign of sandbagging, or is the Red Bull just that good in clean air? But Verstappen had no intention of pushing on the hard tyre. He only wanted to make it to the finish due to the uncertainty caused by the rain that had extended runs on Friday. That had shades of Bahrain when it was revealed that the Red Bulls had significantly pace-managed despite reliability concerns. The aim was merely to create a suitable buffer, nothing more. But Australia felt the same, so some people quickly pointed out that Red Bull might be holding back. On the other hand, Horner had no patience for Russell's sandbagging proposals. That's very generous of him. Horner acknowledged that he was well aware of the advantages that come with managing a race from his team's experience. Tyre management was a crucial factor in the Melbourne race, especially given the early pit stop strategy used. Red Bull's car is designed to perform better in races than qualifying sessions, which could be one of the reasons for the team's strong performances on Sundays. Other factors that may have contributed to their success include energy deployment, tyre usage, and rivals struggling in turbulent air. There is also the possibility that Red Bull may have held back on occasion. Horner pointed out that Sergio Perez struggles to move up the field after starting from the pit lane. Following a qualifying collision, the RB19 did not have as significant an advantage as some claimed. According to Horner, Perez was not holding back and was pushing hard during the race, despite starting from the back of the grid on a circuit where overtaking is difficult. The short lap with few corners made it hard for Perez to make progress, and it took him 19 laps to pass Norris and move up the field. Although Perez seemed uncomfortable in the RB19 throughout the weekend, he managed to finish 5th, helped by the chaotic nature of the race. However, he would have finished lower down the field without the chaos. Some viewed Russell's comments about the RB19 being too fast at needing investigation as a minor attempt to cause trouble. Horner cited examples of teams hiding their true pace in the past, including Max Verstappen's recent performance and Mercedes' admission of doing so in 2014. Although there were some compulsory improvements following his initial poor performance under the new guidelines, the response to his performance was seen as an overreaction. It's common for F1 stakeholders to modify the regulations to prevent one team from dominating, so Red Bull may be being cautious. However, it's unlikely that Red Bull is embarrassed to show its full potential, as it has yet to be necessary. As a result, George Russell believes that Red Bull has yet to unleash its full potential. Russell stated on the BBC's Checkered Flag podcast that Max Verstappen and Red Bull can still show more on the track, but they're holding back to prevent the FIA from bringing them back. Russell suggests that the frequency of restarts and the ease with which Verstappen overtakes Hamilton indicate that the Red Bull car has more potential than what Verstappen has demonstrated thus far. Red Bull racing is very fast, and other drivers trying to challenge Verstappen quickly realise it's nearly impossible. This has led to controversy among the drivers, causing Verstappen to feel compelled to clarify the situation. When asked by the BBC whether they are genuinely holding back, Verstappen responded by saying that they are simply doing their best to develop the car and that controlling the pace is also a significant factor. According to Verstappen, there is nothing unusual about Red Bull being faster, and the team is just managing their tyre wear, especially since there were few extended laps during practice. As Verstappen puts it, there's no need to push too hard and risk destroying the tyres by gaining half a second every lap. Red Bull's impressive performance on the track can be attributed mainly to the car's back end, as explained in a recent video. However, they further improved their overall performance by introducing an updated front wing for the Australian Grand Prix. The team arrived in Australia with a modified front wing design, which involved changes to the flap arrangement, end plate, and dive plane regions. The purpose of updating the front wing was to enhance the car's equilibrium, considering the many rear wing alternatives available. The adjustments made to the end plate resulted in increased camber in the top and middle portions, allowing for more exposure of the dive plane to the oncoming airflow. Consequently, the outwash effect was also improved, but this required a trade-off in loading the wing's intersection of even more than the previous wing's design. For the trade-off to be effective, the new flaps, which are situated at the highest points of the wing, had to be altered differently at the centre of their span. This involved increasing the chord on the inboard end and enhancing the chamber to the outboard adjuster. Red Bull's improvements were not limited to the front wing alone, as they also adjusted their rear brake duct for improved cooling and optimization of the local flow in that specific area of the car. Red Bull's approach to improving the brake ducts differs from the norm, as they didn't focus solely on the external entrance. Instead, they shifted the leading edge of the end fence to capture the airflow between it and the tyre sidewall. This necessitated the use of small gates to help regulate and align the flow with the internal ducting. To summarise, Red Bull's enhancements are a clear optimisation of their existing setup, utilising CFD and wind tunnel studies to improve the interaction between the surfaces and airflow. This has further extended their lead on the track. Can other teams match Red Bull's performance this season, or are they too far ahead? At present, it appears that their potential for improvement is limitless, but if they are found to be cheating, there must be significant repercussions for the team. George's claim about Red Bull's performance remains a matter of debate. While some speculate they are genuinely holding back, others see it as a strategy to prompt an investigation into Red Bull's activities. The team's constant stream of upgrades has undoubtedly put them ahead of the competition, but it isn't easy to ascertain the full extent of their capabilities. Despite the controversy, the Australian race weekend was ultimately a great success, with plenty of thrilling moments and exciting battles on the track. And while the accusations against Red Bull may have caused some tension in the paddock, they also added an extra layer of excitement and intrigue to an already thrilling event. We would love to hear your opinions in the comments section below. And that concludes our video for today. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, F1 Racing Now, for the latest F1 updates. Until the next one, this has been F1 Racing Now, your inside track to all things F1.